Alrighty, we are looking at the new McFarlane Toys Page Punchers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line of figures, and we are looking at Leonardo today. Like I said, this is brand new, just got released and is on pre-order right now at McFarlane Toys and Amazon and all the other retailers. Found this guy at Target for $27, and right off the bat, it is not worth $27. You do get a comic, full page comic, and a pretty well articulated action figure. But $27, McFarlane, you are not going anywhere with this line, especially with all the cons that I have with the figure itself. But yeah, like I said, comic, action figure, $27, no. The figure itself is pretty cool. Not even $20 worth cool, though. It's a very well done figure. I'm pretty sure if you were like me when this got announced, or when this line of Page Punchers got announced, you probably thought these figures were probably more articulated in the way of the Batman 66 figures, or it kind of looked more like a 5 POA kind of action figure, but it's not. I have them kind of posed right here in a dynamic pose to kind of show off what you can do with this figure. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and talk about some things that I don't like, which right off the bat is the paint applications on him. He looks pretty good on camera, but when you get him in hand, he's super ashy, has a bunch of dry brushing of dryness all on the scales, which sucks because the sculpt of the figure itself looks really nice, just kind of gets diminished by all this it's like weird dry looking paint applications that are applied to the fucking figure. It's kind of sad that he's looking like a dry ashy turtle. He's just looking really like not moisturized. But yeah, that's already one thing that I didn't like. Another thing that I thought was kind of weird is the accessories, or at least the feet accessories. He comes with like some perched up feet that you can kind of get him posed, maybe touching down on his 2 toes or something like that. That doesn't do a really good job with the sockets, just because when you try to use the alternate feet and with the alternate fists, they don't really stay in place. They kind of they're on like this weird like square peg. How do you even know what to call it? Kind of awkward. But when you try to push it in, or at least with my copy, it doesn't go in all the way, or it just doesn't pop. When you put on the regular standard feet that the figure comes with and the standard hands that hold the weapons, you'll hear that little pop right there, and that lets you know that it's nice and secure. You don't gotta worry about that coming off. As a matter of fact, I gotta take the foot off camera, pop that foot off, just to make sure it comes off correctly and I don't stress the articulation or anything like that. But yeah, so that kind of sucks, knowing that the alternate accessories don't really stay in very well. Maybe it's just my copy. My copy, the alternate feet and hands don't pop in at all. They're not secure at all, so you can't really do a lot of cool poses. You can't really can't rely on the alternate feet for posing and stuff, unless it's something like this. You kind of have it not using any friction, just kind of staying on there by itself. But yeah, so that's an issue. That's another issue. One complaint that I have that might help you on your action, or on your figure. I don't know if you're gonna run into this issue as well, but when I got the figure, his right knee right here was kind of picking up, so it kind of looked like he was standing 1 foot a little bit taller than the other, kind of give him a little weird not standing right kind of position. So I had to take out the socket. I pulled out the whole socket from the thigh, and I realized that the socket that connects into the thigh wasn't pushed in all the way. So I went ahead and just put in some hot water, got all soft. I pulled out the socket and then pushed it back in so it's nice and flushed. And yeah, so that was an issue that I had to deal with. I don't know if you will also, but if your figure looks like he's kind of lopsided or whatever, that's probably what it is. Probably just have to pop off the ball joint, heat it up with some water or an air dryer or hair dryer, and then just either pop it off, shove it back in, or just kind of push it back in once it's soft enough. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Other than that, though, I think the only other issue I have is the hands. They're not very flexible. They're really tight, and it becomes an issue with the katanas, because when he tries to hold them, the paint on the katanas are going to start chipping away. It's already happening on this one right here. Kind of see it. Oh, focusing on the wrong thing. Let me see. There you go. It's kind of chipping away right there already. That's an issue. that's not a good thing, and they're kind of hard to take out of his hand. Okay, well, I say that and it came out easily. I think it's more hard to... Alright, I guess not. Maybe I just needed to finagle with these more. But you can see right there too, the paint's kind of getting rubbed off the more I take the swords in and out of his hands. And the swords don't really fit really flushed or well in the holster. When you put them in, they kind of just stack on top of each other, and they have these slits on the sides that don't really keep them in position very well. As you can see, they're kind of just stacked on top of each other. They don't look really nice. They don't look uniform. It kind of looks ugly. You have these slits in the back that just make the figure look cheaper. I don't know why McFarlane went ahead and did that when he could have just fully molded them and then just had them as fully sealed or closed holsters. That just makes it look ugly and just not cool. It doesn't look good. It doesn't make the figure look good. But yeah, so enough about the bad things. Like I said, this figure is not worth $27 with the comic and everything, but it's a decent figure. Let's go ahead and pop off the regular hand, or the regular, let's pop on the regular foot. Let's go check him out. I kind of had him posed with all the alternate accessories and hands and all that, minus the fists, which I also have to mention. The alternate fists and feet have a better shade of green than the figure itself does. The camera makes it look like he looks a lot better than he does in person. And in person, he looks a lot more ashier. I'm definitely going to give him a brush, or I might have to literally brush him off. You know, it just looks like he's a bunch of crap all over him. But yeah, the green on the alternate hands and stuff, they look a lot better than the green on the figure. Kind of just looks like no dry brush. No, this is definitely a different color green than the figure itself. I really wish they went ahead with the green. I wish they put the green that they put on the alternate limbs as the full figure, instead of it being kind of mixed match, because now you just have like a dry turtle with non-dry toes and fingers, which is weird. But yeah, so the figure and sculpt itself, it's really nice. You can the dry brushing on him kind of is showing off all the little imperfections and the scaling that the turtle has, which makes him look really cool. This is based off the IDW comic of Leonardo, which we've already got an action figure of in the form of the best action figure line. Those are pretty cool, better articulated. I don't know, they're better priced for sure, but you get a comic with this guy. Let's go over the articulation real quick while we're doing this too. He does have pretty decent articulation. We're gonna pop off this holster real quick. Gonna look up pretty damn decently. Look down really well. He has a really good ball joint, a double ball peg joint, so it can make him look up and down and give him that side to side and a lot of expressive articulation on the head. Can obviously rotate all the way. Both bandanas that come on alternate heads do have a little ball on them. They are connected via a socket that connects into the head, or a peg that connects into the head, so you can have them kind of flowing in the wind or whatever you want. You can have it that way. You can have it that way, whichever one you want. I think I'm gonna prefer towards the right. It just looks more, I don't know, it just looks more appealing to me. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead talk about the ball joints at the shoulders right there. Looking good. That's as far as you can probably get them. Nice, good T-pose. Let me see. You can probably just a little bit more. Nothing too crazy. These are on a ball socket. It's not really this little cover isn't really a butterfly joint or anything like that. It's just connected to a ball that connects to the socket that's inside the body, and this kind of acts like a faux kind of shoulder, so you can kind of get a little bit up forward, kind of get a little bit back more. That's as far as you're probably going to get them, but they rotate all the way. Like I said, does the T-pose, goes in and out, you know, got all the good stuff. The forearms or the elbows are on a single joint, and you can see them right there. So when you push it in, not too not too great or anything like that. It is a little bit over 90, or maybe it's exactly 90. Excuse me. Yeah, that's more or less exact 90 degrees. So you got that. It also is on a swivel too, so you can get him doing a lot more than just picking up his elbow. If you wanted to get him crossing his hands or something like that, can work on it, but kind of. The hands and feet are on this cool mushroom weird peg where they kind of round off the top of the wrists and or I should say the bottom of the wrist and the bottom of the feet. So when you move on the articulation, it kind of covers it. Doesn't really look like there's a joint on there or anything like that. So you can move it up, down, full swivel. Got the full rotation if you wanted him to pose the katana, you know, kind of at an angle like that, going downwards, going forward, or if you wanted him going to the side. There is no articulation at the waist, which is funny because it technically does have articulation at the waist. And what I mean by that is when I pulled off the ball joint that connects the thigh to the body, I noticed that inside it is on a tri-ball peg kind of system. There are two joints that connect the thigh or the thighs together, and then both those joints, or both the ball joints, are connected on another ball joint that connects inside the body. So it's supposed to be a waist joint, so you can kind of get it moving upwards. It doesn't really do anything though. As you can see, I'm moving it, and it's not really moving the thigh that much. So it's kind of a wasteless piece of articulation. I think it's mostly to keep stress away. If this was just a peg that went in that didn't have any articulation, so that way when you're moving the hand, or when you're moving the thighs and stuff, the ball joint itself is moving. It's not stressing anything that's going on inside, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. That's the only excuse, or it's the only reason I can think McFarlane went ahead and did that, which I gotta say, it's pretty cool. You know, they could have easily not added that, but at the same time, it doesn't really do anything other than keeping the ball joints from breaking the connection that connects to the torso. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. Like I said, these are on ball joints. Oh, let me go ahead. I have to take this off camera and put the ball joint back on. There we go. Yeah, so these are on ball joints. Get them about that far if you pick the leg up, and then you can kind of move the knee, so that way, you know, he's still has a kick forward, kick back about that far. Nothing too crazy. Can go out about that far with the thigh. There is a thigh cut, like I said, but you're not really going to get a lot of movement out of it. That's as much as you're going to get from the thigh swivel. These are on ball pegs also, so you can get them going out about that far. Nothing too crazy. That's definitely that's definitely a little bit less than 90 degrees. So they go out about that far. They are on ball pegs, like I said, so they do move. Or they're not ball pegs. These are just what would you call these? Just swivel peg joints, right? But they're in a way so that way you can get them just not moving up and down, but you can kind of get them rotating also. And like I said, the feet are on that wrist articulation, so they kind of move with the ball peg, or they kind of hide the ending of the ankles, but not very well. As you can see, they kind of need to round these off on the ankles a little bit more, because you can definitely see the inside right there. If this just kind of went inwards a little bit more, that wouldn't even be noticeable, but because it is, I'm going to point it out. So yeah, pretty decent articulation. You know, you can get him doing some fun things. Nothing too crazy, but it's not going to not do anything, you know? You definitely, these aren't 5-point of articulation type figures. You're definitely going to be able to get these guys doing something fun already right there, you see? You can get him doing something, you know, other than just a vanilla static pose. Another cool thing, or a reason why I went ahead and bought this figure at full retail price, other than the fact that I was curious, you know, other than the fact that I wanted to know what's going on with this figure, is that they are very well in scale with Marvel Legends and 6-inch figures. So these are kind of running at 5 inches, not too big for, or not big enough for McFarlane Toys size comparisons, but they do fit very well with like Marvel Legends and stuff. Here we have him next to Daredevil and Punisher from Born Again, which makes sense as these two origin stories kind of mix with each other. Yeah, here he is next to Master Chief, which is also in scale with 6-inch figures. He's supposed to be running around 7 to 8 inches, or 7 to 8 feet tall in the 6-inch scale. So here he is next to that, looking pretty well, looking pretty good. And for shits and giggles, let's go ahead and get out Lion-O right here from the new Thundercats Masters in the Universe collaboration. So yeah, still running shorter than your Motu Origin figures, which is funny because they also did a collaboration with Ninja Turtles. And I also have that Leonardo just displayed out of frame and out of hand's reach to compare him with. But yeah, so not too shabby of a figure. Did I show off this head? I didn't have the alternate or the stoic head on. It's a nice head though. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and let's put the stoic head on just so we can see how that looks on him. One thing that you want to notice, or one thing that you are going to notice if you start popping off these heads, is that the ball joint is kind of touched with shock oil. Your hands are going to get a little oily. I just smelled my finger. I don't know if that came on camera, or you can hear that on camera. But yeah, so let's go ahead and put the regular stoic face on, and yeah, he looks really cool. I like how he looks vanilla. So I was already interested in wanting to pick up this figure, just out of pure curiosity, and I don't regret getting the action figure. I don't regret picking this up for $27, but like I said, I don't recommend picking him up for $27. This is not, just the price range is not making sense. It's just not adding up. This is definitely not a $20 figure, and this is definitely not, the comic itself is not worth more than $10. So even with the comic being $10 at like max, this is not a $17 figure. It does come with cool accessories, don't get me wrong. I mean, compared to I don't know, compared to like Star Wars Black Series, which is running to $27 to $29 nowadays, you know, you barely get any accessories. If it's a Jedi or a bounty hunter or something, they're gonna come with their gun or a lightsaber, but other than that, you're not really getting any alternate hands, alternate faces. This technically counts as an accessory, but I mean, you kind of need it. You know, a Jedi needs his lightsaber, their lightsaber. Batman needs his bat symbol, and Ninja Turtle Leonardo needs his blades and his katanas and his his holder for him. So yeah, that's not really going to count. You know, 1, 2, 4, 5 accessories, not bad. Not $27 worth. Definitely you should get this figure on sale when he's maybe $20. $17, definitely. I feel like $17 to $20 should have been the price range for these, considering they don't have a lot of articulation, and there are some page puncher multiverse DC action figures that are fully articulated. You know, got the whole shebang of a DC multiverse figure and comes with a full comic. He didn't do a bad job on these though. You know, I'm not disappointed with it. I'm just wish I can see that there is definitely room for improvement, and I think that's a good thing. He has something going on with these. Most Ninja Turtle action figures right now are from mostly collector oriented companies. You know, NECA. Honestly, NECA is the only one that I can think of at the top of my head. Mezco, you know, with their couple of Ninja Turtles and stuff. And I feel like this is a good figure if you just want the Ninja Turtle to mess around with and to play with. And you also get a free comic. Not a free comic. You also get a comic with it if you spend the full $27. So that's not a good deal, but it's good for your money. You know, if you want to have a decent Leonardo or decent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure, you don't want to spend NECA prices $30 to $40 getting an action figure, even though that's almost how much you're spending getting this one. But at least you get a comic, you do get accessories, you are getting a posable figure. That I've been messing with them ever since I bought them. I bought them a couple days ago now, and I have not put them down. I've just been playing with them. You know, I like all the seams of the articulation and how, like I said, just how he poses right there. He's giving a really cool, he's aura farming right now is what he's doing. He's giving a really cool aura farming stance. And I feel like that's going to be the appeal of these figures. They just look really good, and they come with a comic book. And if you're a McFarlane Toys collector already, I believe this the comic book has a QR code. I'm not going to show it, but they have a QR code on the back that I think you can connect it with your McFarlane Bitcoin coins or whatever the hell he's doing with them. So that's another reason if you're a McFarlane collector to go ahead and get these guys. But yeah, so that's my review on the McFarlane Toys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Page Punchers Leonardo. I'm gonna go ahead and give this figure, I guess the whole set, you know, the whole thing, I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. I'm really happy with the figure. It could be better. There are a lot of flaws with it, but it's not bad. It's not a bad figure. I don't plan on returning it. I just don't think you guys should buy him at full retail price, especially if you are looking for a well-articulated figure. He's well-articulated, just not as well as you'd want him to, compared to NECA, compared to Mezco, compared to any other kind of company that's making Ninja Turtle action figures besides Playmates. You know, when you look at this, when you compare these next to Playmates, I saw somebody on Reddit say this exact comment, and I couldn't find this more truer. And it's, McFarlane saw Playmates Ninja Turtles and said, yeah, I think I can do that kind of. I can do something like that. And this is more or less what that is. It's a well-done figure with good articulation, good enough articulation, but nothing crazy. But you know, you can still have fun with it. This is a fun toy. This is a fun figure to mess around with. And I think that's the name of the game. You know, you got a fun figure and you want to learn more about this specific version of the turtle. Boom, there you go. You got a whole comic book about him. Leonardo. This is all about Leonardo. This comic, no spoilers, but this is a Leo-centric comic. So I'm assuming each character comes with a comic centered around them. And yeah, so that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I try to make it a little review. 20 minutes is as little as I can make it, I guess. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about these figures, if you guys are going to pick them up, or if you guys are interested, or just how you guys feel about this line. Please comment down below. And yeah, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.